second so they can come back in, so they can come back, so they can, it was okay. I was able to get another drink.
No, I didn't have enough time to fix my camera, but,
Oh, dang it.
Well,
I thought you were going to do that.
no, I had to do all the other stuff, and then you said, hurry up. So there's no way I could.
Oh, I thought you were going to,
No.
that's why it was taking a while. And I was fine with you trying to get it started again. Would it have taken that much longer?
Yeah, might have had to reboot the whole thing.
Oh, geez.
So
Is
it's
that?
like-
Well, you can keep trying. Maybe something will change.
Maybe. Oh, hey,
There you are.
there I am. I'm back. Hey, what do you know?
Hey, say hi to people, honey.
Hi, I got to do a few more things here.
There you go. Do it. What just happened?
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't
Scared
worry.
me. You skirt me. I was like,
It's because for some reason the camera's stuck.
Guajape. Okay. And,
well.
also, I had to say, we had over 60 people watching at a time. And our hearts and feelings were coming that were positive, and people were listening. It was going good.
Yeah, it was going good.
It was going really good. And they're like, stop this woman
Yeah.
from getting this
What's she
information
got?
out.
What do we have on her? And it's like, oh, playing a video. Complain.
Yep.
So it's like, which makes your production, there's a thing called free, fair use.
Oh, yeah, of course. But
it doesn't apply. I mean, Facebook has their own rules, and they have
if there's enough people that are complaining about something, they know that the people that work at Facebook have a second or two to evaluate all throughout the day, all of these different complaints, and go, okay, this one looks like it's valid. This one looks like it's not valid. I'm going to, put it. And of course, it circumvents the having somebody's video live stream shut down and their momentum cut down and their audience cut in half and all of these things happening to your ability to share this out widely by using a fake complaint process where you get a whole bunch of people to complain at once so it looks like something bad is going on and Facebook goes, stop that video.
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't have been done, because at the end of the day, you're telling Facebook later that they were wrong, or they're resolving the issue later, has already taken away your momentum, has already taken away part of your audience, has already cut your show into two parts on Facebook Live. And as damaging as folks that out there think that is, at the end of the day, like I said, we're going to be playing this in the Fargo, Moorhead metro area that is comprised of over 200,000 people, and it's going to come out seamless, and it's going to be seamless on YouTube as well. So, but
Yeah.
I still want to make the point that a lot of these folks, and I just found this out by happenstance as I was investigating the Kathleen Bennett case, a lot of these folks have IMDb's.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vanessa Bolin, one of the medics, the paramedics. I was like, she was in a movie with pirates? What?
Yeah, she was Native American woman number 1.
No, 2. She was Native American woman number 2. Yeah.
2, yeah.
She didn't even have a name in the movie. She's just Native American woman number 2. But so does Dallas Goldtooth. And so the guy from the Indigenous Environmental Network and a whole bunch of these other people. They're like actors. They've been in movies. They've been in commercials. They've lots and lots of them. And I was like, are there like musicians or entertainers or rappers? And I'm like, that's weird. There's an awful lot of these actors out here. Some of the people that got arrested and ended up at our house after we got them out of jail were actors. And I'm like, how's that? How is there so many of them?
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Like, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize there was so many entertainers in Hollywood. Was this a set? Was this a movie set?
It was. Look at all the movies that are coming out.
It was.
There's movies getting awards now in different festivals because
Oh yeah.
2 years ago I saw one of them in
Black Snake.
yeah.
Glass.
Well, actually, it was a new one. It was about women.
Oh yeah, that was another one that these same women, including Chase Iron Eyes' wife, I think they were all celebrating that stuff in Europe.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's this movie has all this raven, and then the filmmaker was like, "It's 2.5 years of hard work," and it's like, yeah, they're out there at the beginning because this is a movie op.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of organizations involved that went out there, and a lot of organizers, and a lot of different nonprofits, and a lot of different churches, and a lot of different, and it literally, it turns out after I started to unravel this giant ball to figure out what happened with Kathleen Bennett, how did these people all get involved with working with each other, because they are part of a large network, and they take this show on the road. You need them at your Poor People's Campaign? Chop chop. They will be there. They will bring all of their people with them. They will bring all of their crisis actors. They will bring all of their supporting roles. And they will bring some star power from Hollywood. They'll throw a Jane Fonda at you once in a while. They'll throw a Dave Matthews at you once in a while, or a Rosanna Arquette. Mm-hmm. They'll fling a Wesley Clark Jr. at you. They'll drop a Tulsi Gabbard here and there. Sure, they will, but they won't bring them to the main. They'll go to the main event, like the Women's March, like the Indigenous Peoples March. That's where they will show up, right? That's where they're going to be like, we're here to support this thing. But see, they are in every level of the planning, of the funding, of the orchestrating, of all of these different things that we've seen. They're at the forefront of it, not at the tail end. But they wanted to make it seem like all of this happened with me not having nothing to do with it. I just showed up here to help these poor folks. Mm-hmm. And now I want to ask you, be careful with all of those angry faces, because y'all know that drives down the viewership on my live streams. I'm going to ask you all to give me some hearts and some likes, because I'm telling y'all the truth. If you don't like to hear this show because you don't like what I'm saying, then maybe you need to go. Don't listen. But do give me some love, some likes. Okay? You know how those algorithm works. I know how it works too. If you keep giving me all of this anger, it must be because you don't like the content. So I want you to know, watch and tell me who they are. Who is it? Who's giving me all this anger and hate?
I'm giving you a bunch of hearts, so there.
Give me some love. Give me some thank you. Thank you, Cindy, for exposing the truth. I would like that. I deserve it. I'm giving you plus I did all this research for you, okay? So that you wouldn't have to. Now, I want you to help me out here. I need you to help me out here, okay? Because there is some other people we need to identify. This is the best part of the show, okay? This part of the show that we're going to watch right now is the best part of the show, because I'm going to expose some things, okay? Here is some of the people that were around him. I showed you Keezy IMC. That's his rap name. His other name is Chief what was it? Chief
Queasy or something.
Keezy IMC. Yeah. I think that's his rap name. He is one of the people that was right around this person. Another person that turned out to be right around this incident when it happened was a girl in this video. And I don't know who she is, but I sure like to find out. Hey, all of you who've been following my show since the Standing Rock days, that have been watching, as I've told you, there's a lot of these actors, actresses, activists, actresses. I don't know what to call them anymore. Could you take a look at this lady and tell me who she is if you know? Because there are the main actors in any given situation where they get all of this propaganda, where they milk a situation, they orchestrate, or that they exploit for propaganda, for media coverage. There's the person that's the main event. In this case, it's Nathan Phillips. And then there are the secondary people or hype men or women, hype women, okay, that are in the vicinity. And y'all need to know who those folks are. We need to identify who those folks are so that we know, okay, this is a group of people working this angle of propaganda together. Because believe me, like I said, the reason they were able to blow this up so big was because they have people in the media. They have people that are photographers that are friends with Hollywood actors and actresses and stars, and they spread this stuff all over the place. And then the media goes, "Oh shoot, we gotta cover this. Everyone's talking about it." But it was all orchestrated so that it was done that way. So here is one of the people that we need to find out about. It's this girl, and I feel like I've seen her.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've seen her before. So help me out. Let's crowdsource this information. Let's find out who she is because she says these kids have a mob mentality. She is making an assessment that she wants people in the crowd. She is saying that will taint your perception of what you see in the video if you don't know the whole thing. So this is what my assessment is, that she is one of those hype people. Okay? So let's play that clip and identify who this is.
It's awesome because you guys are what, like 16? How old are you?
Nathan Phillips, Raymond Kingfisher, some of our elders who are closing out a beautiful day of the Indigenous Peoples March.
So, there was two things in there that we need to talk about. First, the girl that was in there. Did she go? Did you see her?
Yeah.
Or did you play the right thing? What did she say?
She said there's mob mentality, just like you said.
Okay. I just want to make sure that...
Just look real quick.
Okay.
It's awesome because you guys are what, like 16? How old are you?
No, she was commenting back about, you 16, how old are you?
That was not the clip I wanted. You or Nemo didn't give me the right clip. That woman, maybe it's in another clip that's coming still. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it. But that is the woman I'm trying to identify. She's in that clip, she's talking to the kids saying, can you play that piece one more time? Maybe I missed it.
It's awesome because you guys are what, like 16? How old are you?
Nathan Phillips, Raymond Kingfisher,
Okay,
some of our...
She says, it's awesome because you're like, what, 16 years old? But she also, in another clip, says, this is effing mob mentality. And as you heard, there was a guy that looks like he's Mexican in the crowd, like right behind the kid that Nathan Phillips was drumming in front of, right behind him, arguing with the person behind himself, saying the F word to this kid and telling him to go back to Europe and telling him that we've been here for millions of years. I'm assuming he's talking about humans on the planet, because I don't know when we can trace our ancestry back that far.
No.
I mean, tens of thousands of years, yes.
Yeah.
There's definitely archaeological evidence of that, but I'm not sure what that guy was talking about. And for people that were trying to diffuse a situation, and believe me, these people go together wherever they go together. Why would your hype people, your photographers, your journalists, why would the people around you be saying to some of the other kids with F-bombs, okay, you're acting like a mob, you're part of mob mentality, how old are you? Nice, like it's aggressive, right? Am I the only one seeing this? That guy was yelling at this kid behind him, like he's like, get the F out of my face, like go back to Europe. Like, who's the adult and who are the children of this story? Is this guy behaving? He's the aim hat guy. I called him because I don't know his name, so I need you to help me ID him. This is what he looks like. This guy that's yelling behind over his shoulder at this kid and using an F-bomb and doing all of this stuff is the hype people and the media people that are sharing your story and saying, and they're outraged about how this native elder was treated. Who are the adults? Why would those hype people that are with you? Why are these hype people that travel around with these same folks and somehow end up in these clashes, somehow end up in these situations that end up making national media and that portray somebody in a specific light, okay? I don't understand why you would do that, because it makes it look like people that you were with were doing the opposite of what you claim, which was you wanted to diffuse the situation between the Black Israelites and the MAGA hat wearing kids. Why would you then tell them to go back to Europe? Really? If you have compassion for DACA dreamers who know no other country as their own but the United States from being deported and from being told to go back from where they came from when they came from here, as far as they know, their whole lives, then why would you tell European kids or kids of European descent who are American-born natives that have been here for generations to go back to Europe? It is just as ignorant and just as was it radical, I guess. Extremist, that was the word I was looking for. Thank you, brain. Thank you, brain. It's just as extremist to say that. I mean, that sounds like Linda Sarsour's speech, like from the river to the sea. Oh, yeah. And just that anti-Semitic, get rid of all of them. You can acknowledge that racism exists. You can acknowledge that the Europeans stole Indians' land. You can acknowledge that there was genocide committed. You can acknowledge all of these things without wanting to lash out and or use hate speech against another group of people. Is that how they wanted to diffuse the situation? By yelling F-bombs and telling these group of kids that did not cuss at them, who were laughing. And yes, it was an awkward situation, but they were not retaliating or taking the bait, I would say, in the way that I felt that these grown ass adults, grown people, grown men and women were saying to the kids. I mean, that woman I just showed you just acknowledged, she said, how old are you kids anyway? Like 16? Because she knows she's fighting with children.
Exactly.
Where am I wrong, Duke?
You're not wrong at all. In fact,
how do you see things?
Well, I see them as the insiders. I see, because if you watch the whole video and the other, when Nathan starts walking up, you'll see him flanked by these two people, or other people too, and they're coming in to be the insiders. I mean, they've got the camera, the tight view of the camera, and then they're trying to rile people up. I mean, they were looking for a fight. They were looking for the conflict. They were doing things by just the things they said that they wanted people to get mad and to push in. So I think I consider them the insiders, and that they were trying to formulate this thing because this is a big photo op that they could push this agenda with.
Okay, so I mean, look, we need to confront the hatred of Native Americans in North Dakota. We have plenty of it.
Yeah.
Now, North Dakota has, well, it was number 2 in hate crimes in the whole country. So there's definitely huge problems. We even had people on our state legislature that wouldn't let the UND mascot issue die.
Yep.
Okay, so we know we have serious problems to deal with, not just in North Dakota, but in America. But fabricating anger where none exists to make a point. Do you remember that show, the John Quinones show, What Would You Do?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a reason why it was canceled. Because you cannot prank people. If you don't know what that show was, there was a show called, it was part of Primetime at first, where they did it because of, I can't remember what news story kind of started this trend, but the TV station, after something similar happened where people were able to find out that there was some kind of social experiment going on. And so Primetime did this thing where they would set up a social experiment, like, for example, have a lady wearing a hijab go in to buy donuts, and the donut salesperson, they're all actors, of course. The donut salesperson says, "We don't serve your kind on here." And then, to see, will anyone in the donut shop, all of whom are being filmed, stand up for her? And they create this false outrage. And in other shows, they pretend this is true stuff that they did on the show. And I'm like, I think these people are starting to push the envelope a little bit with this pretending for social experiment show. Because there was one I remember where they had some girl pretend that she was being kidnapped, or that she was, I can't remember if she was being kidnapped or she was being beaten by the guy that she was with, and or like she was being trafficked or something, like they were pretending that there was a crime happening. And they would the person that was kidnapping this child would go to the bathroom, and they would see, will anyone try to come and talk to her or save her or call the police? Mm-hmm. Some people tried to beat up the actors in this. Like, there was many times when people tried to beat up the actors, and then they had to send the crew out and go, whoa, 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 whoa. This is all fake. This was all staged. We just wanted to see if good people still exist. You know, we wanted to see, and they would question people too that didn't do anything, that didn't get involved. And it was just really weird because they would go up to people and be like, how come you didn't say anything when you thought someone was being kidnapped? Mm-hmm. And this person was just eating their lunch. And they were just like, now you're in a social experiment, and people think you're an a-hole because you were okay with watching this happen.
Exactly.
And it was just so bizarre that they were doing this. I mean, at some point, you were watching this at first, and you're like, this is an interesting concept of, fabricating these, non-existent things where people will get outraged or get scared and do something. But at least on that show, someone came out and said, this is all pretend. In this stuff that these folks are doing, no one tells you it was staged. No one tells you they were crisis actors. No one tells you that there were, there's no reason to dox these kids, that there's no reason to be angry at them, that, there may be many reasons to be angry at privileged white kids from private schools in general, but not specifically these ones, and not specifically for this. So that is where I think that we need to depart from the anger that many people have at me exposing what is behind a lot of these folks. And the reason I am bringing this up about Nathan Phillips is because he is very closely connected to the people I have been investigating for a while. And as I've shown you, they don't have a problem with breaking the law. They don't have a problem with hanging out with criminals and working with criminals in very sensitive situations with very vulnerable people. They don't care about falsely accusing someone of crimes they didn't commit. They don't care about impersonating law enforcement. They don't care about kidnapping people. They don't care about covering it up in the media. They don't care about lying. They don't care about crimes of rape and harassment, and they don't care. They do not care. I have shown you time and time again they do not care. And that even when I expose something that everyone has to acknowledge is true, like when I exposed all these people that were raising money for a fake gunshot wound that Marcus Mitchell lied about and everyone else helped him to spread, even then they will defend these people to the death. They will continue to defend their own actions and the actions of others. And I guess it's the only way out. But doesn't that strike you to be a lot like Trump, who can never admit he was wrong? At what point are we going to have a serious discussion about the truth of what is happening in this country without having to embellish or to defend our position to the death, even if there's completely relevant and important evidence that we were wrong? That we didn't get the whole story, that we supported the wrong person, that we were outraged and angry at the wrong people. When do we have that opportunity? I think we could start today. We could start now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so aside from helping me find out who these other people are, and the reason I want to find out their names is because these folks are carnival barkers. They're not innocent bystanders. None of the people that run with these folks that I'm showing you in my shows are. None of them are just innocent little no. Okay? Here is one of the other persons that was there. Well, of course you know, or maybe you don't know, but I'll tell you that Chase Iron Eyes was there. Takata was there. He posted on his Facebook page and said, I was right there. I was with Keezy MC and Raymond Kingfisher. I was right next to Nathan when this whole thing went down. And then I thought, because he said that he did not get in the middle of this whole thing because he's on probation. It was the most bizarre post. He said, I couldn't get involved because I'm still on probation. Like, what does that mean? You couldn't get involved because you're on probation. He said, and he added to it, that the only way he would have gone and gotten involved in this whole thing is if he had seen them lay hands on Nathan Phillips or physically accost this elder. As if to say, he can't get in the middle of a fight, like a physical altercation, because he could go to jail. He didn't just want to tell you he's still on probation, but after getting a bunch of people arrested at the last child camp with his confrontation with the cops. He didn't want to tell you that piece of information just for your amazement and amusement. No. He wanted to let you know he was ready to throw down and go punch some MAGA hat wearing kids. And the reason that I know this is because this sentiment was echoed by a lot of other Indigenous people that were celebrating Nathan, that are aware of who Nathan is and aware of who this group of crisis actors are. Okay? And one of the things that they were hyping was, hey, where were all of you men? Why weren't you at this Indigenous Peoples March so that you could have Nathan's back? How did this elder go unprotected? He was all alone because there weren't any Native youth there backing them up. Where were you? And so a lot of people started posting that were there why they didn't get involved. And one of them was Chase Iron Eyes, a guy that ran for Congress, basically. And maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe I'm reading what he posted wrong. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But the way I read it, my interpretation of it was he wasn't going to get himself arrested unless somebody put their hands on him first. I don't know if you and your perception of what he posted on his Facebook page is different. Let me know. Comment in the comments. I'll read your comments later. But the show must go on, and I want to talk to you about the guy he said he was with, Raymond Kingfisher, because I know who he is. He came up on my radar right away. You may recall him from being at Standing Rock. He was one of the people that was there until the bitter end, and I showed you recently in the Tony Cervantes pictures of all of the people that she featured from Standing Rock. There was Raymond Kingfisher with his book, right? But Raymond Kingfisher and all of these people, including Nathan, all of these people end up in the media a lot. It's what they do, which is why they get people that are actors, because they're going to be in the media a lot, and they need to, their pictures, their faces, their messaging has to be consistent, and they need to know what they're going to do. And one of the people that they consistently have used over and over and over and over again is Raymond Kingfisher. Here he is in Yes Magazine. He posted about this on his own page, saying he was working on divestment activities. Oh, by the way, these folks travel to and fro, hither and yon. How they do it, how they spend so many tens of thousands of dollars by my calculations to all of these places all around the globe. Going to these marches, going to be a drummer at a divesting, going to the next march, going to the next hurricane, going to the next march, going to the next disaster, going to the next crisis. How do they afford to do it? I don't know. I mean, I've just watched Doug McLean go from being in Europe to in Spain and all of these different countries to being back here to going to Mexico and like
Yep.
I don't know how. If they took all of the millions of dollars that they spend in flying these people all over the world, they could probably solve some of the very problems that they claim they're raising money for.
Exactly.
They could literally solve them. But no, they want your money. And they're probably not even using it on what they say that they're going to use it. They just use it for their own political agenda. Maybe for flying their butts around to all these events and for bringing all of these crisis actors so that they can do their photo op. I don't know. But they always seem to end up in the photo op. I just want you to notice that. Here's another article that Kingfisher was in. Kingfisher. These are the people that were right around him, right around Nathan Phillips, okay? Those two people I haven't identified, but also the people that frequently are in the media as these CDE list actors like Chase Iron Eyes and or politicians and or entertainers, etc., or rappers like Chase Iron Eyes and like Kingfisher. Here he is in this article about divestment. And next, here he is in a video that was in an article that was in Think Progress, I believe. But this is from a YouTube video. Here's a clip of him being evacuated from Standing Rock in the last days.
Our prayers are going to be strong no matter where we go, because we're taking a piece of this fire with us. This doesn't stop us. This is not going to stop us. We're going to go somewhere else and we're going to continue this fight.
So, again with the tears, and I know the end of Standing Rock was terrible. I just suspect that most of these folks orchestrated the closing of the camps just as they orchestrated their opening, orchestrated all of the money that was generated, orchestrated every one of the clashes with the police, orchestrated all of the sob stories, orchestrated all of the horror stories. So I don't know if those are crocodile tears. I don't know if that was for the movie. I don't know. I have to ask questions. Here is what he was talking about, that they're taking they're taking the fire with them. You know where they took it to? They took it to Burning Man.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the places they took it to. They took the embers to start the Flint camp that was run by the Ryan Laurie, the white guy that used to be, or that might still be, I don't know, not a Nazi, a skinhead. Excuse me, a skinhead. And one of the places, the Flint camp, where Nathan appeared. He was at that Flint camp after he left Standing Rock, along with other Standing Rock figures like the rapist, Chelsea Lyons Kent, like the other guy that started the Flint camp, Paula LaDonna funded it, part of it, and also what's her name, Paula Antoine, and of course Ernesto Burbank, Relatives in Pair, Chumash, all those folks.
Yeah.
So here is what they did after Standing Rock in the Women's March. This was featured on Raymond Kingfisher's Facebook page on a post about the Indigenous Peoples March, which he's just been at. And people said, I hope it goes as good as we did at the Women's March. This is the Women's March that they went to with, I believe there was Vanessa Bolin, one of the paramedics that put a false police report in against Kathleen Bennett. Mulaney, the kidnapper of Mary Trujillo, was there hanging out with all these people. That's why I was so outraged at them, because they knew what happened to Kathleen Bennett. They knew what happened to Mary Trujillo. They lied about it in the media to use it as propaganda, and they were the ones that covered up for it. And of course, they were hanging out with and enjoying the company right after these horrible crimes were committed against these two Oglala Lakota elders in all of these different places like Hawaii and Washington, D.C. And I thought, they're in on it. How could they not be? How can they not know what these folks did? Here they are in a clip of a video that was posted on his page of another march. You will notice that one of the people that went with them to Burning Man to sell ceremony was Dan Nimkin, and he's in the video too. And another guy that was supporting the fraudulent GoFundMes and the fake shooting of Marcus Mitchell. John Gonzalez is in this video too, or Standing Bear. He looks pretty white to me, but there's a lot of these pretend Indians that are in this movement speaking on behalf of Indigenous people too. So here's that clip. If instead of working, you could, it doesn't matter if you have any experience or training as an activist, as an organizer, or anything like that, but if you could spend a year, 2, 3, who knows how long you can keep playing this con, not working and instead traveling, here and there and getting flown around the world to do these different marches where you get to wear ribbon skirts, even if you're not a real Native American, and or war paint, even if you're not a real Native American, and represent and speak on behalf of Native Americans and get an Indian name and work on all of these things that look like you're a really good activist, and and you're raising money for organizations and groups that appear to be popular to the public in progressive circles. Would you rather do that while you're also getting to kind of live this rock star life, going from town to town, performing essentially for cameras? You also may end up in news stories, probably will end up in news stories, and doing radio and television, and you might get semi-famous off of it. Like, you might get to write a book, or who knows? I mean, we're going to help you out because we're going to use this massive network of people that are connected to Hollywood stars. And every once in a while, they wave their magic wand over you. They tweet about your Skrillex video or the story about your nonprofit organization, and boom, overnight, you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars.
Wow.
What do you want to do? Seems like it's a pretty posh life. Here's here is Kingfisher at Standing Rock. I want to point out the guy that's in the very front with the green neck thing, wearing the overalls.
Yeah.
He looks like the guy in the red AIM hat that was yelling at the kids with Nathan. Well, Nathan wasn't yelling at the kids, but there was a video where I told you there was these hype people. Yes. Look at them. Can you put him on the other side of that picture on top of it?
No.
No?
I could.
Try it. What happens if you put both of them on at the same time? Does it allow you?
Well.
No? Oh, you have to do that? Oh, well, that's a lot of extra work, hon. You don't got to do that. There's a hat guy in the top. He's the very first one. The very first picture is him.
No, it's the same one.
It's the same one. I thought you were going to put in the other one, honey. No. The picture of the, that one. I wanted you to put the other one on top of it. On top of that one. Yeah. See? There you go. Okay, now move him. Oh, see? There you go. That's what I want. Wow, that wasn't too bad. Okay, so this guy here looks a lot like that guy with the hat. Am I right or am I right? I asked a lot of people. I don't know if it's him. It does look like him. And that, it looks a lot like him. Maybe it could be his twin. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. But this was from Standing Rock. That picture is on Kingfisher's Facebook. I want to prove that to you by showing that it was posted from his Facebook page, and that he had this picture on that Facebook since he was at Standing Rock 2 years ago. If you look at the date, it tells you clearly that it was from December of 2016, that it was from his Facebook page, and he identifies that the people in the picture are Oscar High Elk and Ramona Three Legs taking a break in the Two Kettle Camps. Except there are 3 people in this picture, and there's even a woman behind them, but just the ones that are facing the picture, there's 3 people, not 2. So one of those people is not Oscar, whatever he said. So I don't know which one of those 2 guys is Oscar. I don't know if that is his name or not. If you know, let me know in the comments, or send me a DM or leave me a message. One of the many ways my husband told you that you can. Send me an email, send me a tweet, something. Okay, I just want to show you. Here he is in his life, water is life beanie. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Marcus Mitchell. That's Marcus Mitchell right there in the middle, and that is the picture that they took inside of one of the tents in D.C. during the Women's March after when they went with Mulaney, when all those people were there together, with Vanessa Bolin, there is Marcus Mitchell with his fist pumping. The guy that just recently, on October, there's Dan Nimkin, the guy that sold Ceremony out at Burning Man. That picture, this Marcus Mitchell is the guy that just recently in October of this last year defrauded people for thousands of dollars, saying he had fake gunshots. And all the way in front is Angelo Sison's girlfriend, Holyoke Lafferty, who was also working with Mulaney Stoneman toward the end of the closing of the camps. Right?
Yep.
These are all folks that have been working together. And I want you to see that this was posted on the date by Holyoke Lafferty of March 10 of 2017. And it says it was at the National Monument in Washington, D.C. Okay? Take a look. These folks travel together. You see the same people over and over and over again working together. You will continue to see it. Here's the next one. You may recall that I told you that the people that were with the veterans groups, that were with L'Oreal Blackshaw, because I got information from one of the veterans themselves that told me that they purchased these Water is Life beanies. They were very expensive. There was a lot of them, but she wanted everyone that was, I think, in their crew to get one. And I showed you all the people that were wearing one. I told you all the people that got one. I showed you all the people that got the tattoos as well. Raymond is porting his hat here. It's my hat. And here he is in a photo that has some tags. This is Pam Keeley's post, but he is in the background. He's got the AIM sweater, hoodie, whatever it is on. You can see he's next to, in between the two gentlemen wearing these hats from this tribe that I believe is from Washington State. And there are a bunch of other people here who are tagged, that are tagging these photos of an event, some kind of a march or a rally. If you go the other direction, you can see it's from a news report from KOMO News Channel 4 on ABC. So once again, I want to illustrate that these folks are very good at getting in the news over and over and over and over again now. And here he is in Washington, D.C., along with the folks that started the Flint camp, Paula Antoine, that woman all the way in. Okay, let's go from the right, my right, to the left, okay? From the bottom up. Who can we see there? I think that is Stephanie Big Eagle at the very bottom. I could be wrong. No, because she's missing that forehead tattoo. But she does have tattoos similar to her. Okay, anyway, the second person there is Paula Antoine. As you know, she is one of the people that helped start the Flint camp. Behind her is Linda Black Elk. She was part of the medics and healer team that made all of those false reports that helped put Kathleen Bennett in jail. Behind her is Winnie Locke. Behind that person is somebody whose head is blocked because of Winnie Locke's fist. But behind that person is the kingpin from Nexus of Billionaire Wealth, Miss Christina Hollenbeck.
Oh, yeah.
Christina Hollenbeck is one of the people that put Kathleen Bennett in jail. On the left, you have the third person back there is Vanessa Bolin, another person that helped put Kathleen Bennett in jail and also put Mary Trujillo in an early grave. Vanessa Bolin helped to put an elder in an early grave. These are the people that are looking for missing and murdered Indigenous women. And all the way in the back, at the very end, is Dallas Goldtooth from the Indigenous Environmental Network. All of these folks that helped to put Mary Trujillo in an early grave and put Kathleen Bennett in jail for 6 months and would have been happy to let her rot if we hadn't been alerted that she was an innocent woman that needed some help, and no one was helping her from these groups because they're the ones that put her there, and they're the ones that fought tooth and nail against my reporting because they did not want her exonerated. They even wanted to still vilify her after we proved that everything they said about her was untrue. They still wanted to try to run with the story that they did nothing wrong, that they did not lie. But we will never forget what they put our family through, the station through, and that family of Kathleen Bennett's through. We will never, ever, ever forget it. And I will never stop reminding them that they helped cover up a crime, right? These folks were all working together, and they continue to work together. And I think that's very important for you to know. Another person that covered up a crime, this one, a rape of a young girl, was Ed Higgins. Some of his cohorts on his fake media platform, Activate Now, that was really started by Madeline Kelly Merritt, a Hollywood star. This Ed Higgins had a whole bunch of different so-called correspondents like Aubrey Peckham and Mike Fassig, who were covering for their son, Mike Fassig's son, who kidnapped and raped a woman and assaulted her with a gun. And they used their media platforms to hide the fact that they were all involved in the kidnapping, to hide that they were trying to cover for this kid's crime. He has since been convicted. Then he went on to do more propaganda and hurricane relief. That's Ed Higgins right at the very front. We've told you all about him. There's also the last man standing with the black beanie all the way in the back there next to Tina Pugliese, the woman in the black hair with no hat on all the way in the back. She's with Indigenous Women Media. I showed you she was in pictures with Kei Kurimoto. I showed you she's been in pictures with Maya Rose. I showed you that she's been in pictures with a bunch of these closely connected people to Hollywood and media production. And there is the last man standing. You remember him. What's his name?
He's the one that made the post.
Oh, Jameson Dargan. Excuse me. I'm a little bit, my eyeballs are going to fall out of my head.
Oh, yeah.
There's the Ban Exit guy, Tim Schwartz. There's Myron Dewey, who's just been questioned and interrogated by Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's just talk about all of the people. And then I want to show, and this is right after they were at the Women's March. There's Raymond Kingfisher with the same woman, Maya Rose. The same woman I showed you that was at Standing Rock. The same woman that I showed you was in the pictures with Kei Kurimoto. The same woman over and over and over again with Tony Cervantes, with all of these other people. Let me show you that he posted this on his picture, and they're at the Oscar Awards in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Wow.
He's all over the place. I'm sure that they were hanging out with Maggie Day and Seven McDonald and all of these other people that they made friends with that are from Hollywood. She is one. Mm-hmm. Here is Kingfisher with Myron. Again, this is from the date of September 22nd, 2017, when they went back to Standing Rock. And you can see that this was posted on Indian People's Action on the official page. And it's got Holy Elk Lafferty once again. This is a different year, different time, different camp. I believe that the guy all the way to the left in the hat is the same guy with the AIM hat that I'm looking for. There's a clearer picture where you can see that it looks a lot more like the guy in the other pictures I showed you before. I just wanted to alert folks to that, but I could be wrong. Especially if it is determined that the guy in the other picture I think that looks like him isn't really him.
Exactly.
But I could be right. And there's also in that picture Tina Pugliese. Once again, the media production person. There's Myron once again. Look at how the same people work together again and again and again. Mm-hmm. Kingfisher with William Hawk. Here's Kingfisher with William Hawk in the middle. The guy that started, the founder of Indigenous Life Movement, which is now run almost exclusively by a white guy from New Jersey, Doug McLean. New Jersey. He's from New Jersey. Okay. He was living in Australia because he's a photographer and he's been living there for quite some time. But he's originally from New Jersey. But he's the greatest spokesperson for indigenous people,
That's
right?
That's right.
And he thinks he is indigenous himself. Look at how this definitely is on Kingfisher's post on Facebook with them in Seattle this time. What are they doing? They're at a Wells Fargo. I can only guess they're at some divest action, right?
Right.
So look at how they travel together. Look at how they go to different actions and get in the media again and again and again and control media platforms and tweet, resend, reshare each other's stuff so that they can create this tunnel of information that looks organic. Here they are. Here Kingfisher is with Toccata Iron Eyes, Chase Iron Eyes' daughter that you just saw in the video with Doug McLean. There's Kingfisher with her, and there's a photographer following her. They're going to blow her up. They're going to blow up Toccata. They've been blowing her up since the beginning. Why? Because that's what's on the agenda, folks. That is what is on the agenda for the folks that work with LaDonna and the Oceti village that they're building and all of their plans for these camps that they have along the border and for the activists and the actors and the entertainers from Indian world of tomorrow. They've already chosen them. These are the ones they're going to be. But don't forget, they also like hanging out with people who are hella dangerous and are not real Indians or lawyers, just like, and by the way, they are identifying, once again in the media, they've been identifying Chase Iron Eyes, who is speaking on the Nathan Phillips issue. He's quoted. He's going to probably be on. He is already on television all over the place speaking on behalf of Nathan about what happened to Nathan because he was right there, and also because he's a lot better talking to the media than Nathan is himself. And he's saying he's a lawyer, but I don't think he has a license to practice outside of the res. I don't think that he's really a practicing lawyer. And I know that the person that they put in charge of his wife's lawsuit against Trump during the pipeline fight was definitely not a lawyer. And he was also not an Indian. You may recall him. He's Red Wolf Pope. He's a rapist. He has now been investigated and will probably be convicted for raping numerous women in 2 states. He was brought to the camp on the invitation and with the support of Wesley Clark Jr., who took this rapist to meet 2 of the witnesses in the Kathleen Bennett case, Josh Long and Ren. You will recall that this guy, who is actually Chinese, Red Wolf Pope, had Airbnbs in 2 different states, which he put cameras in so that he could creepily watch the people that he rented these places to, and then he would go and visit the women that were staying in his Airbnb, drop a little something in their drink, and then rape them on video, which he kept. He kept the videos, presumably, so he could watch himself rape them later. That's what Red Wolf Pope is. But Wesley Clark Jr., the guy that took millions of dollars along with Michael A. Wood Jr., using the platform, the Young Turks, which they've been working with to get people elected into politics, like the people that have the management and the help and the support of the same people that put on this march, of the same people that are in Tijuana right now, putting themselves in front of the caravan crisis. Those people are managing what is a bunch of political agendas, in essence. Okay? So here is Red Wolf Pope, the guy, one of the guys that was closely connected to this. These folks, look at the date. This is after they used Red Wolf Pope. Wesley Clark Jr. used him to go and talk to the Kathleen Bennett witnesses. He also told me that Red Wolf Pope was at his house. Wesley Clark Jr. told me Red Wolf Pope went to his house and took him all these presents from Arvo Looking Horse's wife. He was at the that ceremony that Wesley Clark had Red Wolf Pope was invited to that. Arvel Looking Horse, he was closely related to Arvel Looking Horse. He was saying Arvel Looking Horse was his medicine man, his mentor. This rapist is still being used up through almost up until the time he got arrested, practically, by these folks. And I've shown you how they used people that have been convicted of raping minors in the security teams. I've showed you how they've used all of these different things have happened again and again and again. It just keeps happening. Here's Raymond Kingfisher tagging in the WPLC. You can see they're connected to that Water Protector Legal Collective. I've talked a lot about what they did and what they didn't do for the Kathleen Bennett case, so you know that. It says, on my way back to Seattle, see how they're constantly traveling, and there's Nathan. Nathan shows up a lot with Raymond Kingfisher. Took one big bite of the Big Apple, so he just got back from New York. Now he's going back to Seattle. And I spit it out before I left, support the Water Protector Legal Collective, and help my brother, Nathan Phillips, get home. Aho, creator, send some money for Nathan, please, because he needs money. And Raymond Kingfisher said so. Please help him. Yeah. Next, we have Nathan with him and a group of people in the background there. I'm assuming those are other activists that they're in what place, Duke? Washington, D.C.
There you go.
On November 16, 2017. Mm-hmm. And there's Nathan. Okay. So they travel together. Once again, I'm just making my point here. This is how it goes. Here's Nathan at the camp. They were together. On what date was this? There's Nathan with Raymond Kingfisher on September 24 of what date?
2017.
2017. Fort Yates. And then here's Nathan in Maryland. Okay? He's in the background there, next to the guy with the bow tie. Where are they now, Duke? Where's Waldo?
Let's see. They are
near Maysville. Wait, I can't read.
Maryland. They're in Maryland.
They're in They're in the state of Maryland?
Yep.
In what town?
Myersville.
On what date?
It is November 10th, 2017.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And where is Nathan next? Here they are yesterday.
Oh. In D.C.
In Washington, D.C.
Of course.
Because he was one of the people right there. Mm-hmm. And look at that girl right in the corner, all the way at the very, very bottom. That's the girl in the video. Oh. That's the hype girl. Okay. That's the girl that said to the kids, to the 16, are you guys 16 years old? That's the girl that in another part of the video I wanted to show you guys that didn't get clipped out of it, said to the kids, said about the kids, this is an effing mob. Mm-hmm. Using foul language. There she is all the way at the bottom with the green eyes or blue eyes. That's her. Wow. They're hanging out together. They weren't just bystanders that happened to be in the vicinity of the thing when this happened. What does the post say, Duke? What does it say at the top?
We are family.
They are family.
All my Ochetti family and me.
That is Ochetti family. Okay? They are family. They are not just innocent bystanders that happened to be at the Women's March, that happened to be there when this all happened. No, they're family. I wonder if Mr. Kingfisher is upset about not making it into the stories and the media this time. Yeah. But I think he was supposed to be featured, and y'all did not feature him as much. Mm-hmm. Be careful, because some of these people might get jelly of the star time that they're getting in front of the Hollywood lights, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have Mr. Nathan with them. Where are they? This was all from Kingfisher's page. Yeah. But this was originally posted by somebody named Lopi LaRoe, but it was on Kingfisher's page. Mm-hmm. And it's tagged with him in this picture, as you can see. Would you please read it, Duke?
Nathan and his daughter, Alethea Mae Phillips are looking for a ride to Ann Arbor for donations to cover travel costs.
Ann Arbor, Michigan?
Yeah. They're a bit stranded in the Bad Apple. Anyone with a few quarters to spare.
In the Bad Apple? So
Yeah, yeah.
New York.
New
They're
York.
stranded in New York, and they need to get to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Not just him, but his daughter,
That's
too. Right. And what else?
Anyone with a few quarters to spare, please donate to augustamaze@gmail.com, PayPal.
PayPal him, please.
Yep.
He needs your money. How in the hell do they manage to travel from one place to another 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 place?
Yeah.
Do you know how much it costs to fly?
Yep. And
Are you keeping track of all the trips? And I haven't even showed you all of it. I just took a sampling to make my point, to show you they travel together, they do things together, they go to the next thing together, they have the cameraman there, they got the media people there, they got everything ready. This whole thing was orchestrated. No, they didn't put the MAGA hat wearing kids there, and no, they didn't put the black Israelis there. That I can prove.
Yeah.
That I know of. Although it was hella weird, they called his name out by name. Nathan, our elder, is coming. I find that really weird. I also find it super weird that the Native American people were defending the black Israelites and what they were saying in a lot of their posts. Not that I can prove, but I will say this. This was not organic. I question the tears. I question the motives. I question the money grubbing. Here is Kingfisher on TV again. This time, same jacket. Look, he's wearing the same thing.
That's the same news channel.
Como TV. Yeah, that's the one that I showed you before where he was in, I believe he's in Washington, but it says right here, this was on his page. And what does it say? From Pan Keeley, that's the woman that was in the other, she was sharing these. And next, I want to show you Kingfisher. From that same thing, it says over there, maybe they were, I don't know where they were. I thought that one of the posts from Keeley said solidarity with the something, and I can't remember what the tribe was or what this action was about. But once again, I just wanted to show you how adept, let's call it, how adept they are at going to places and ending up in the news.
Yep.
Here is a post he made about the cops. And again, when one of the things that happens here is to create outrage, right, against another group that is based on your emotional response to people being racist toward Indians. And every good, decent human being in the world should be disgusted with racism toward Native Americans, with hate crimes against folks that are Native or Indigenous, right? We should all despise that. But I think it is really effed up to manufacture a la what would you do style social experiment, some situation to elicit this kind of response and pain. People are really genuinely hurt, disgusted, and angry about what happened to Nathan.
Yeah.
And turns out we don't really know if anything did happen to Nathan. It doesn't look like anything happened to Nathan. And it might just all have been an exploitation of something that they helped to orchestrate, that they knew that they could exploit for dollars and tears, and that you missed it, that you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. It may be that this is what it was. I have a lot of other evidence that makes me feel very convinced that it is, but I want you to make your own choice, okay? Here's the post about the cops. He says, someone asks him, "You okay, Raymond? I hear those cops were rough on you." This was on January 15th this year, okay? Recently, right now. Where was Raymond Kingfisher that he was roughed up by cops? How did Raymond Kingfisher, one of these many many, many water protectors that ends up on the news all the time end up in some kind of roughhousing with cops. How does this happen over and over to these people that they're questioned, interrogated, arrested? How does it happen? I have questions.
Yeah.
Raymond Kingfisher says back, I'm okay. Just got shoved pretty good. I would have fell, but a fine indigenous worker from Mexico caught me. Blessings to him for being there. He'd just gotten off work at one of the many construction sites in Seattle.
Seattle.
Seattle?
From Seattle to D.C. and
Seattle.
earlier in the week in Seattle and later in the week in D.C.
And he says, and Amy Wolf responds, oh, good, I'm glad you're okay. I'm sick. I was sick all week and I would have been there. Huh. Been where? Then he posts the Guardian article for inspiration. And then here's another post about cops. And it's from that news story where he appears on KOMO. Mm-hmm. What you see there are a bunch of bicycle police, and it says next to the picture, and one of the comments from this post, dumb cops and their bikes. This city insults so many.
Huh.
So there is this outrage that is created from these different events and different situations where there are protests, where there are clashes with CBP, where there are clashes with the police, which they help to orchestrate for the camera, mm-hmm. that are supposed to elicit your tears, your anger, your frustration, your hatred for the police, for the government, your hatred for white people, for MAGA hat wearers, for private schoolers, it's created. But I want you to know that it's created. You have a right to be angry about those things when they're real. You have a right to feel those things, but don't you want to save your tears for something that isn't theater?
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, any opportunity is an opportunity for these phonies to bring in their prophecies their solidarity with the Mexicans and the Central Americans, which they are saying over and over again as they are filling privately run detention centers full of migrants themselves, and helping Trump create just the rhetoric that he needs at the border to say that he desperately needs this wall. Okay? Because they are not only orchestrating and manipulating and exploiting the caravans, they are also directing what they do. And here is Kingfisher echoing that same BS line about the condor and the eagle and the prophecy. But now they haven't just applied it to what happened at Standing Rock as they did before. I thought the prophecy was fulfilled then. No, now they're fulfilling the prophecy in Tijuana. Now they're fulfilling the prophecy in Mexico. And now they are fulfilling the prophecy in Washington.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks and counting, says Raymond Kingfisher on this Facebook post. Indigenous Peoples March, D.C., 2019. On January 18, 2019, meeting of the eagle and the condor. What? Again and again and again?
Yeah, I guess.
Just keep using the same thing. Remember that part of this prophecy, as I have told you, they have told the caravan, and they keep repeating, which I think is kind of laced with this hate speech, is that we're going to recover the lost land. What does that mean? It sounds very similar to what that guy I'm trying to ID in the video that was yelling the F word at the kids in the MAGA hats was saying, which is, go back to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And here is, if you were wondering if these folks are aware of the criminal activity that the other ones are involved in, look no further than their Facebook pages, because they're sharing the posts of the activities of their cohorts. Here's the post Raymond Kingfisher put up of Myron Dewey being detained at the border. They know, and they meet up with each other time and time and time again.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean? It means you need to go to the actions they're going to tell you to go to, where they are going to put you in danger of getting arrested and or take your dollars. One of the two, maybe both of them at the same time. but you need to GoFundMe. Here is the article in the, this is the GoFundMe for the American Indian College Fund for Nathan Phillips that has been set up, which has a goal of $100,000, already at $15K. Here is the article in which it's in the Inquisitor, in which they are talking about how they've already raised thousands and thousands of dollars for Native American, Nathan Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said in here that here's the article link. We'll share these links with you so you can go and check them out for yourself. It says the internet has responded by raising thousands of dollars to support Phillips and a nonprofit organization he called Native Youth Alliance. The response was meant to put a positive spin on an ugly incident that has gained viral attention and help the Native American activist who was caught in the middle of the incident. He was not caught in the middle of the incident. By his own admission, he put himself in the middle of the incident, and it is paying off.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, never forget, it is ensuring and propagating anger, which I think is falsely misplaced in this case, on these kids. While the incident drew some very strong emotions, some tried to funnel their energy. Here comes the ask for your dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss it, folks. Here comes the ask. What are you supposed to do with this rage you have against these MAGA hat wearers?
That's right.
Put it in donations and give it to these groups, this organization, the Native American Youth Alliance. So it says here, while the incident drew some very strong emotions and some tried to funnel their energy toward helping Phillips and the work he has done to promote peace and help develop Native American youth. Across Twitter, many shared links to the organization and encouraged others to do so. The attention has apparently been appreciated by Phillips and his family. One commenter on social media said they contacted Nathan's daughter, the one that they were raising money to fly back from New York, following the incident, and asked what they could do to help her.
Oh, yeah.
And then she shared a link to the Native Youth Alliance, and that's how it happened. They never intended for them to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars from the very beginning. No, it just happened organically. There were some... I think you missed something, honey. Because I think that we also got sent some screen captures of the GoFundMe for the Indigenous Peoples March, which showed that they had raised over $11,000 just overnight. So they funneled people requesting support for Nathan to go and put it in a variety of different places. One of them, of course, is this Youth Alliance group, but the other, I think, is the Indigenous Peoples March. The Indigenous Peoples March, the first one, has already raised thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Yes. And it's connected to what happened to Nathan. The thing that happened to Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got all this viral. I mean, other than a bunch of people sharing and live streaming the Indigenous Peoples March, it kind of went off without a bang. I mean, it had pretty good attendance for how quickly they managed to throw it together. But at the same time, it didn't have that pow. It didn't have that went viral thing, except for Nathan.
That's right.
And once you got that going, now everyone's like, what's this Indigenous Peoples March? What's going on with that? Everybody's going to go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you market.
Yep,
this is how you sell. That's what it's about, folks. I'm just sharing my opinion and the evidence that I have to back my opinion up. It says that some others of the Native American charities are pitching in to help the Native Youth Leadership Alliance, a similar sounding but different organization, released a statement condemning the incident and sharing a PayPal link to the Native Youth Alliance and at gmail.com. The organization noted that any contributions it might receive by mistake due to the similar name will be forwarded to the Native Youth Alliance.
Sure thing.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. But it says here that Nathan Phillips has been a longtime peace activist, teaming up with his daughter last year to lead a 4-day prayer walk in protest of the Dakota Access Pipeline. He also had a number of videos and articles promoting the power of prayer, which some noted made the confrontation even more tragic. There was no confrontation.
Oh, that's right.
That it was students from a Catholic high school who confronted and taunted him. They didn't, though. Okay. I'm going to stop now. I will leave this for you to look at, think about, sleep on it, okay? I want you to sleep on it. I want you to try to fight back the anger that you feel, the rage that you feel at me for bringing it up and telling you all about all of the shady things that the folks that he has been running around with for a very long time are doing. I am sorry that I am pointing out that we need to let cooler heads prevail and think a little bit about our outrage in this situation where maybe it was manufactured, because these people are pretty good at doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at my past shows. Go to kpppfm.com and support the work and the research of this station. You know it's going to go to a real 501c3, and it's supporting community news. We are a fully supported by viewers and listeners station, a nonprofit, and we are independent media, really independent media, the kind that has been given a license to broadcast by the FCC. Be careful of getting your news from imposters, and be careful of getting tricked by these social experiments. Let's talk more about what's going on with the caravan. We'll be bringing you more information about all of that on my next show here on Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp
and Duke Gomez-Schempp,
here on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP Fargo-Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Thank you for being with us and sharing this show, and for giving me your time tonight. Buenas noches. Good night.